Are you scripting and role playing regularly? Did you just kind of get there by just doing, or like where did you learn, or what did that look like?
So we had scripts that were for the expireds that I actually didn't like. They weren't working for me. They were a little passive. And so I'm very just straight to the point. And I feel like expireds need to be straight to the point with the next person that they choose, because what they did was they went with the nice agent, and now they need the no BS agent who's going to get their house sold, because now they're annoyed. And so I rewrote the scripts like a month into being an agent, and they worked.
So you're an agent for a month. You're like, this doesn't work for me. I'm just going to rewrite everything, and then I'm going to sell 50 listings in a year. I love that so much. I would think then you're probably just getting stronger every day, right?
I mean, I would like to think so. I'm trying. I had just set, so I had signed those 6 listings last week, 7 listings, 6 were expired. And then Friday, I was calling expireds, and I set another appointment.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Aaron Wittenstein, and I would like to welcome you all to Vulcan7 Roadmap. This is where we interview agents across the country on how they take 2, 3, 4, just like a lot of listings a week, okay? So we have somebody here I was speaking with a little bit before. I'm in like shock and awe right now, okay? Beth Staeckeler from Black Hills, South Dakota. Now, Beth has been in the business now for 3 years. And let me ask you a question, Beth. Beth, say hello to everybody. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. She's modest too, extremely modest, by the way. Beth, how many homes you've been doing this for how many years now?
I'm in my 3rd year.
You're in your 3rd year. Okay.
Yes.
And in your first 2 years, how many homes did you sell?
In my first 2 years combined, I sold 100 homes.
100 homes in your first.
Two full years.
In 2 years, 100. That's okay. That's awesome. I'm in, like I said, shock and awe right now. That's amazing. Not because you're not awesome, but just because in the first 2 years, that's amazing. So, all right, what are we on pace for this year? What are we looking at?
70 homes this year. In my 3rd year is kind of what I'm on pace for.
Only 70? You think we can't push 75?
I'm working on it. Have to have that stretch goal.
There we go. And what did you do last week?
So last week I signed 7 listings, and 6 of them were expireds from Vulcan7.
That's what I'm talking about. That is absolutely all right. So, wow, this is going to go so many different places right here today. So, I usually end with these questions, but I want to start with them today. All right.
Sure.
So, all right. So, doing this. So, what's the one thing that you attribute your success to? Like, if you had to pinpoint one thing, what would that be?
Follow up. It's absolutely in the follow up. You're not going to call an expired the first time. It'll happen, but most of the time you're not going to call an expired the first time and they're going to say, yep, absolutely, come list my house. They're going to give you a bunch of reasons why they're going to hold off for a while. And so it's really just about that follow up and scripting past that no.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. So out of like that 100 transactions, like what percentage would you say were expireds?
So every year, so I'm in my 3rd year again. Every year, I would say 85% of my listings come from expireds, and the rest is my sphere.
Got it. All right. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Okay. And then do you just do listings, or do you work buyers as well? Or are you pretty much just on the list side?
So right now I'm just on the list side. Obviously, Your first year as an agent, year and a half, you're always going to work with buyers. But I'm just very listing heavy, especially here in the Black Hills. We get a lot of snow. It's snowing right now. And so I like to spend my winters at home, having agents call me to see if they can show my properties than showing properties.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. All right. So you said something which I want to make sure doesn't get lost. I believe you said script past the no.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I call it scripting past the no.
What do you mean by that?
So if I call an expired and they say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to hold off for a little bit. Oh, great. What has you waiting? Well, the weather. It's snowing. It's Easter. I'm just going to wait until it stops snowing. You know what? That sounds great, but I'm just going to tell you really quick. Hey, do you have a second? Okay, awesome. I'm just going to tell you really quick. Last week, the winds were 80 miles an hour. We had a negative wind chill of negative 30. And I had 15 people come through my open house and I wrote an offer in the house. So it's not always about the weather, it's about X, Y, and Z.
I want to do this. I got a feeling we can script and I can beat you up pretty bad. Are you game for that?
Sure.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, like how strong can I get? I'm going to go strong with you. Okay. Because I feel the force is strong with this one here. Okay. so,
Sure.
all right. All right. Give me a call.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, is this Aaron?
This is, how can I help you?
Hey, Aaron. This is Beth with the Christian's Team Real Broker. Saw that your house went off the market without selling.
Hmm.
Wondering what your plans were.
We're going to relist with my agent, Sally.
Great. Yep. What's Sally going to do different this time to make sure that your house gets sold?
Well, I mean, she has a whole plan to put in place right now with like open houses and social media. So, I think, like I said, we're going to give it one more shot with her for 3 months.
Sure. So when you said that she has a plan in place, did she not the first time?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question. So I mean, what would you do differently?
So just a couple quick questions. Did you guys do open houses before?
Yeah, we had like 4 open houses.
Okay. And how many people came through?
I don't know.
All right.
I
What
don't
was
know.
the
A
feedback?
bunch. A bunch. Feedback was, they liked the house and they didn't want to make an offer. They weren't ready. The weather, all that type of good stuff.
Okay. And you didn't know how many people came through?
Not offhand, like I said, is I really don't know. At this point, I'm not sure really.
Sure. And then what about for social media? So you said that Sally has a plan now.
Hmm.
So what was that plan before? Where were you posted? Where did you see it? How many comments were you getting? How many people were interested just through your social media posts?
I put it all up to her. I'm the type of person where it's like,
Sure.
just go do your job. And I really don't know. That I'm really not sure about.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So what my team does is not only are we going to do open houses and you're going to get a feedback form afterwards, and I'm going to give you a call to let you know how many people came through and the specific feedback at that time. But every Friday, you're going to get an email from me, and it's going to be how many people have messaged us through Facebook, how many people have clicked on it, how many people have taken the 3D Matterport tour, been on Instagram, called us, text us, so that you know that we're doing our job. I totally understand that you want to kind of just step away and have your agent kind of do what they need to be doing. But if she was doing what needed to be done the first time, your house absolutely would have sold. It's beautiful from what I can tell. The CMA that I did on this house already, which I can email over to you when we're done, this house should have sold. It has nothing to do with the weather. It has nothing to do with price. What it really has to do with is marketing.
Okay, so what you're telling me is my home wasn't marketed the right way, and if it was marketed the right way, it would have sold.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And now because you're going back on the market, now the marketing really has to be strong.
So I mean, with the weather coming up and 100-mile-per-hour wind and 37 feet of snow, I'm thinking that that it makes sense that we should just like sit on it until the weather turns around in like August.
So we definitely don't want to do that. And I'll tell you why. One, because once the weather does kind of slow down around here, which I mean, as you know, is going to be in about 2 or 3 weeks, you want to be on the market, ready to go hot, fresh branding, maybe just a little bit of a price change, even if it's $500, just so that they can see, hey, I'm back on the market. I'm motivated. Let's get this sold. And I have another question for you. Where
Hmm.
are you going once this gets sold?
We're staying local. We want to buy a really, really, really big house.
Oh, nice. So you're just going to kind of look for that larger house.
Oh, big. We want like 53,000 square feet.
Wow, that's a mansion for sure. That's like shack status. And then, just kind of back to the weather situation. That's why your marketing needs to be strong, because people are sitting home when it's snowing, when the wind is crazy, and they're scrolling looking for houses. Their search doesn't stop. It just changes where they're searching. And so now they're heavy online. And if they don't see your house, because I'll be honest, I didn't see your house being marketed anywhere. If they don't see your house, they're going to find something else.
Interesting. Okay. Do
Yep.
me a favor then. Can you give me a call back in like a week or two when we decide better on what we're gonna do?
Why don't we do this? Today is Monday. Why don't we just set an appointment for, does Wednesday at 3 o'clock work for you guys? I can come by, kind of just show you what the team does. Obviously, you don't have to sign with me. If you decide you still want to use your agent, we can part ways, shake hands, no hard feelings. But I would just kind of let you meet me. And that's huge for me. I always say, let you meet me, show you what the team does, and we can kind of take it from there. Does that work?
Yeah, that's nice one. Yes, yes. Okay, you're a bulldog. That's off script now.
Sure.
Yeah, you're a bulldog. That's pretty. I could have went further, but for the sake of time, I'm like, let's just like, wrap it. No, you're very very good. I've
Thanks.
scripted a lot of people. You're very welcome. Are you scripting and role playing regularly?
With the new agents, I do, but not so much. I will for a little bit, and then I kind of leave them to their own devices to kind of script together. But we don't script expireds and for sale by owners with them until after their 90 days.
Got it. Okay. 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 So
Mhm.
let me ask you this then. I mean, did you just get because from what it sounds like to me, you're pretty darn good. I mean, you know you
Thanks.
got some. You're welcome. You have some very good skills. Did you just kind of get there by just doing, or like where did you learn, or what did that look like?
So we had scripts that were for the expireds that I actually didn't like. They weren't working for me. They were a little passive. And so I'm very just straight to the point. And I feel
Really?
like expireds, I know. I feel like expireds need to be straight to the point with the next person that they choose, because what they did was they went with the nice agent and now they need the no BS agent who's going to get their house sold because now they're annoyed. And so I rewrote the scripts like a month into being an agent and they worked.
So you're an agent for a month. You're like, this doesn't work for me. I'm just gonna rewrite everything, and then I'm gonna sell
Yeah.
50 listings in a year. I love that so much. I absolutely. So all right. So I would think then you're probably just getting stronger every day, right?
I mean, I would like to think so. I'm trying. I had just set, so I had signed those 6 listings last week, 7 listings, 6 were expired. And then Friday, I was calling expireds and I set another appointment.
Wow. And I mean, out your way, are you getting a lot of data? I mean, like, is there a lot of expireds that come up in your market, or are you just? I mean,
No,
what does that look like?
we get about probably under 10 a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you get 10 a week, you got 6 out of the 10.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay,
And what'll happen is they'll say, "Oh, well, everybody's calling me." Yep, totally understand. Well, how are you guys getting my information? And I always say, "Great question. We actually have this program, and what it does is it pulls the listing once it's expired, and I am a strictly expired listing agent. And so all
mm,
I do all day long is I call expireds and I get your house sold because the first person didn't." I just say that.
no, that I like that a lot. Okay, so you're going on the appointment. You're meeting with the expired. I would think that your close rate is pretty high when you're over there as well.
Yes. Yep. I mean, it's slowing down a little bit, but then you have to ramp up the marketing. You have to, do all the things that you really didn't have to do too much of, but now it's open house heavy, marketing heavy. I do a lot
Sure.
of videos, things like that.
Okay. All right. Um, so how many hours a day are you pretty much putting into lead generation right now? What's the goal?
So I'm a team leader, I'm director of expansion,
Okay.
and I'm top producer on the team. And so I spend about 10 hours a week doing lead gen,
Okay. Strictly for expired listings?
not just expired, but
Like
I
lead,
would say for expireds, it depends on how many we have.
right.
Between the follow up and the new ones, I would say probably about an hour. And the one thing I will say that I love about Vulcan 7 is you can scroll back to pages from expireds from 8 months ago. And so you can still call those guys. So I'll call those guys that haven't put their house back on the market and asked if they're ready to relist.
So you go back to the old stuff as well.
Yep.
What does that conversation look like?
So I'll say, hey, saw that, 123 Main Street never went back on the market. Wanted to see if you're ready to relist.
And what's the typical response that you wind up getting for something like that?
So the typical response will be, so out here it's heavy Airbnb market. So they'll say, oh, I got my
Mm.
house rented. Oh, I turned it into an Airbnb. And I'll say, great. where's your next house? Did you move already? Have you had somebody run a market analysis to see if maybe, how's your Airbnb doing? Oh, it's doing okay. Well, have you had anybody run a market analysis to see what it would look like for you to sell it and maybe buy a different Airbnb somewhere else? Or, I just come up with all these different things. And so I've gotten a couple of things over people were like, yeah, maybe it's kind of worth me just selling and buying a different house. Or, yeah, we've been thinking about going back on the market in the spring. Well, now it's April, so let's get you back on the market then. What's holding you back? Are you free Friday?
You script like I do. I love it. Okay, I'm like I said, I'm the exact same way. You just have better hair than I do. I'm right at you go right to the point, So
Yeah.
I love that so much. So all right, so I want to bring it back to what you started talking about in the beginning. All right, you mentioned about follow up. Okay. And I would like you to just kind of do you have a follow-up system in place, processes that you have? What does that look like? Because that was the first thing you said, and I want to make sure we don't gloss over that.
Sure. So it really depends on the situation. So basically, we have a CRM that we use, and I'll plug them into the CRM, put them on a task for it to do, and I'll follow up really depending. So if somebody says to me, well, I pulled the listing. I'm not probably going to relist, but I do have somebody that's interested in buying it. Great. I'm going to follow up with you and see if they came through. I'm going to see if it's actually going to close, if they submitted an offer to you. Or, hey, you know what? If you're pushing somebody and they're like, I got to talk to my husband. Well, they're clearly not the decision maker. So there's only so far you're going to go. And so it's, hey, that sounds great. Instead of you calling me, because I'm sure you're busy and you have a million things going on, my job is to call you back. So why don't I give you a call back tomorrow? And I'll be like, what was your husband's name? Joe? Okay, great. I'm going to see if you and Joe had a chance to talk, and then let's take it from there. I make it really personal. Hey, you're busy. This is my job. You talk to Joe. I'll call you tomorrow.
I've got a good line about the spouse. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
So what I'll say, I'll be like, so Beth, how long you been married for?
5 years.
5 years? I've actually been married for 13. And if your relationship is anything like mine, my wife just puts things on the schedule. I'm expected to show up. Let's go ahead and get you set in there for tomorrow at 2:00. And we'll get going. I just love that line. I figured you'd appreciate it.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
It works really, really well too, by the way. It really does. All right. Enough of me. It was the layup. I had to say it. It was just an absolute layup right there. All right. So you're following up. You're basically, from what it sounds like to me, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like, you're doing your job.
Yeah. And like I said, our job is to do the follow-up. It's not when the woman on the phone or the guy on the phone says, well, I don't know right now, I have a lot going on, or I'm at work, let me call you back. Hey, you know what? My job is to call you. So right away, I'm setting the precedence that I know what my job is, and I know what your job is. And so this is my role. That's your role. And let me do what I need to do. And you just sit back and don't worry about it.
And all you can do when you say this, be like, yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll be like, okay, that sounds phenomenal. I love the way that sounds. That sounds perfect. And then all right. And then all right. So let's say, for example, we're on the phone and I say, you know what? I'm waiting 3 months and you're not going to get in my door. You're just not. It's 3 months because school or something is letting out at that point. What does that system look like over the next 90 days?
Great. So one thing that my team does is we do 4 parties, so 1 a quarter, for basically our sphere of influence. And so during that 90 days, you're going to get an invite to our Thanksgiving pie giveaway. And not only are you going to get an invite, but I'm going to go drop it off to you. I'm going to go to your house. I'm going to knock on your door. I'm going to give you a call and say, hey, I have a Thanksgiving pie for you. I put you on my my program that my team does. And so I'm going to drop off a free Thanksgiving pie. This is a true story. I did do this. And so they loved it. And then it was, hey, it's, Valentine's Day. You guys still haven't listed yet, but we do this great thing at Domino's where they make us heart-shaped pizzas and they're all free. Why don't you come by, get pizza, wings, whatever you want. So I'm still creating that. So I had called in expired and they weren't ready to relist. They just felt like their home wasn't ready. They weren't going to use their agent. They felt like that agent didn't tell them that their home wasn't ready. And so they were like, give us a couple months. Okay, no problem. Well, through that, we had events. And so I invited them to the events. I knocked on their door with a pie. I would message them like probably every 10 days and just be like, hey, how's the painting going? Did you need help with anything? How's this going? Did you guys get the pool down yet? Little things like that to keep me top of mind. And then it's like, hey, I remember why you're not ready yet. It's okay. But what can I do to help you in the meantime?
So, all right. So 90 days, we got a 90-day follow-up plan in place. How many times are you going to reach out to me within that 90 days?
I'm going to reach out to you probably once every 10 days. So anywhere from 9 to 12 times.
Oh, wow. And people don't get annoyed by that?
Nope. And that's the biggest misconception is people think that the other person is going to get annoyed, but they're not, because they just know that you're trying to be helpful. I'm just asking, I'm trying to provide value. Did you get it painted? Do you need me to see if there's a painter that can help you? Did you get the garbage cleaned out of your backyard? Do you need me to come and sweep your garage out? Like, I'm just providing value.
That's great. No, that's no, it's like I said, it's pretty impressive, and I see why your conversion rates right now are through the roof, right? Because I mean, to go on 7 appointments and to take 7 listings, 6 of which are expired, and to have 10 expireds come through your desk and to go on 5, 6, 7 of them. I mean, those are really impressive numbers right there. Do you feel they're impressive?
Like I said before, I feel like, you can always do more, you can always do better, but I'm really proud of, the way that I'm handling these expireds. And like I said, when you can get a program like Vulcan7 and go back 10 pages, which is 8 months ago, and recall those people, or maybe see something that you missed, maybe you're on vacation or whatever. I heard like people take vacations, weird. And so, and you can recall those people. I mean, then you can be busy all day long with these expires.
All right. So I asked this question to everybody that comes on Roadmap here. All right. There's a brand new agent, which it seems like you have a bunch of them that come through your door. One of them knocks on the door and they're like, Beth, give me one piece of advice. What's that one piece of advice that you're going to give to a brand new agent?
Stay on top of your follow-up. It's the most important thing when you're an agent. Stay on top of your follow-up, because if you get behind on your to-do tasks, if you forget to call somebody, there are 368 agents behind you that aren't going to forget. And people are buying and selling every day. And it takes more than one phone call. So get back in your office, go through your follow-up. I don't care if you called them yesterday, call them back.
Every 7 to 10 days, or 10 to 12 days, right?
If you got a hold of them, yes.
Yeah,
yep.
Beautiful.
If you didn't, you call them every day.
I love it. I absolutely love this. All right. Let's see here. Final last words. What do you got for me?
Ooh, final last words. Push past the no. If somebody tells you no, dig 7 layers deep, because they were already on the market. There has to be a reason why they put it on the market in the first place. Find that motivation.
Just find the motivation. 7 levels. I love it. You're like me. I so much just right to the point. You're from New York, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, I spent 10 years in Westchester County, so that's why we hit it off so well. See that? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, this is absolutely great. Okay, Beth, so someone's coming through to South Dakota, all right, and an agent who's watching the show is like, oh my God, she's absolutely amazing. I want to get in touch with her. I want to learn a little bit more from her. I have a referral in your neck of the woods. What is the best way for a said agent to get in touch with you?
So definitely give me a call, shoot me a text. 631-902-6095. I have my phone on me 24/7. I'm not one of those agents that will get back to you in 8 hours.
Beautiful.
I need about 8 minutes.
I was about to say, if it's less than 8 minutes, it's free. So, all right, Beth, this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And guys, just remember, we do this pretty much every week. And thanks for checking out Vulcan7 Roadmap. Go make some money. Take care of yourselves. Later.